Hey everybody, I'm Jack Reedy with Future Pastimes. I'm a designer on Dune-themed board games, and we are reading Dune, and we are to a really spicy chapter here. It's told mostly from the point of view of the Baron Vladimir Harkonnen, who is on Arrakis. He's in the keep there in Arrakeen. He's watching through the viewport as his forces finish off the Duke's forces with artillery. Explosive artillery, and he's congratulating himself on coming up with that idea. He says to himself, who would think of reviving artillery in this day of shields? So it was instrumental for the Harkonnens to quickly defeat the Atreides forces using sort of an archaic form of warfare. So not long after that, Piter brings in Dr. Yueh, and the Baron thanks him for his service by having Piter stab him in the back. But right before Dr. Yueh dies, he kind of mutters out, you think you've defeated me? You think I don't know what I'm buying with my death for my Wana? And Yueh knows that Wana is dead at that point. He's been trained in observation by his wife, who's been a Gesserit. And so he knows within moments of confronting the Baron there that Wana is dead. And that's fine. He knew that she was not going to get out of this unscathed, but he just wanted her to stop being tortured in Piter's pain amplifiers. So Yueh dies, but his last gasping words really unnerved the Baron, and he was looking forward to gloating over the Duke and really relishing what's going on. To further antagonize him, he learns that the Jessica and Paul are missing, the assassins who were sent to kill them, and then they've been found by the assassins who were sent to kill them, but they were already dead, and there was no sign of Paul or Jessica or the ornithopter. So he really has freaked out the Baron. So he's like, bring in the Duke. So the Duke is brought in, and he's still drugged and a little bit delirious. He kind of is remembering that he's got the tooth. I can't remember who put it in there. He's listening, and he's getting the sense that Paul and Jessica are missing, which is great, but then he kind of drifts in and out of consciousness. So while that's going on, the Baron goes and eats some dinner. And then the Duke starts to come out of it some more, and he's being questioned by the Baron and threatened. The Baron doesn't want to torture the Duke, especially not where anyone can see. He doesn't like the idea of the commoners within House Harkonnen seeing someone of royal blood being tortured. But he keeps asking the Duke where Paul and Jessica have been sent. He's wondering if they've been sent among the Fremen, and the Duke is thinking, well, this is great. They don't have Paul and Jessica. They've gotten away. They can hear the sounds of somebody, one of the Atreides lieutenants, being tortured in the next room. But he gets the impression it's not Gurney or Thufir or Duncan. So they seem to have gotten away as well. And then he remembers the tooth again, and he remembers that it was Yueh, and that's the deal. But he's still affected by the drugs. The room is kind of spinning and zooming in and out. And he thinks that the Baron is close enough, so he bites on the tooth and he breathes out the gas. But the Baron had his shield on, set at a low setting, and he was far enough away. And when he saw Piter keel over and die, as well as his captain of the guard, Uman Kudu, the Baron ducked out of the room through a kind of a hidey hole in the back of the room. And at first he's like, oh, did I breathe it in? Am I dead? Did it get me? And then he realizes that, he's still thinking and he's still there. So he realizes he very narrowly escaped the Duke's poison assassination attempt. And then Corporal Iken Nefud comes in and reports that, yes, everybody who's in the room is dead, but it's been cleared out. The poison gas has been removed. And the Baron promotes him right there, says, all right, well, you're the new captain of the guard, and I hope that you will learn from your predecessors' mistakes. And So he's kind of disappointed that that he didn't get to really question the Duke. And just then, top Sardaukar officer comes in, demanding to know what has happened to the Duke. He's supposed to be killed quickly and cleanly per the Emperor's orders, and the Baron is not happy with this guy not showing proper respect to the Baron. But he explains the Duke killed himself, and the Sardaukar is like, well, I want to see the body right now. And the Baron is like, you. So he's like, all right, show him. And he realizes that the Sardaukar will report back to the Emperor basically what has happened, that the Duke caught them by surprise, and that the Baron barely escaped being killed himself. And both the Sardaukar and the Emperor will see this as a sign of weakness, which the Baron hates. But at least he can take some comfort in knowing that the Emperor doesn't know that the Atreides launched a sneak attack on Giedi Prime to destroy a lot of Harkonnen secret spice stockpile there. And he realizes his plan of putting Piter in charge of Arrakis and getting the Fremen to hate him obviously isn't going to work now that Piter is dead. So he has to put Beast Raban back in charge. But the plan is to soften up the Fremen so that when Feyd-Rautha comes in to replace whoever was in charge, that they'll see him as sort of a savior. So that plan can still work, even though he has to basically sacrifice somewhat of his own blood, Raban, which he's not thrilled about, but he's certainly willing to do it. So yeah, this is a great chapter, action-packed, really good insights into the Baron. He was really quite keen for Piter to die pretty soon. But now he's like, I got to get a new Mentat. So, contact the Tleilaxu, have them get my new Mentat ready. Yeah, it's great. Now, in terms of adaptations, I feel like the Lynch movie got this right the best. They did a great job with this particular scene. Piter kills Yui, and Yui has his final words. The way that they did the filming of the Duke's POV with not being sure if it's Piter or the Baron who's right there when he finally shoots out the poison gas. And then, Nephud finding the Baron and the Baron being, am I dead? Am I alive? And Nephud, you're alive. And so I thought that was great. The Villeneuve, they took a very different approach to it. The one thing I did like about the Villeneuve adaptation was when the Baron is hovering over the Duke right before he bites down on the tooth. He says the line, here I am and here I remain, which he doesn't say in this scene in the book. He actually says it in the banquet scene, but I think it's actually a very fitting line, and I liked that change. But the rest of the scene really didn't capitalize on the good stuff in there. It's the Baron who kills Dr. Yui, not Piter, which I thought was unfortunate. I mean, Piter is a master of assassins. It really should have been him doing it. But I guess they wanted to make the Baron more of a menacing figure, especially since this is Piter's last scene. So they gave him the glory there. I did like the long table with the Baron eating at the one end and then floating across the top of the table. That was pretty good. The miniseries does a pretty good job with this. So kind of in between, I would say, in terms of faithfulness to the adaptation. So, yeah, I mean, the Villeneuve version is fine. And if you haven't read the book, it's a good dramatic scene. But I still think the Lynch movie got this one better. So the Lynch movie gets a lot of hate, but they did a lot right in that movie, especially for 1984. Yeah, this was a really great scene. It's a great scene in the book. I love it. It's the Duke's swan song there. Dr. Yui's plan almost works, but yes, the story goes on. So let me know your thoughts. What do you think of this scene? What do you think of the different adaptations? Do you have a preference? Was anything in it unclear? I love the use of the artillery strike. which is why I was adamant that we add that as a card into the Dune board game in the first expansion, as well as Poison Tooth. I felt like that was a critical plot element, needs to be in the game. So we added those both in that first expansion, the Ixians and Tleilaxu expansion to Dune. So that's it for our chapter on Dune. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.